Good evening, everybody. I'm glad that you could all make it out and join me this evening. No notifications probably went out a little bit late tonight. I forgot to schedule this actually ahead of time. So today was a pretty big day. I just started my new job today, and it's pretty intense going back to work after so long. When I got home, I had to set up all this computer equipment because it's going to be a remote job. Um, so yeah, in order to do that, I had to rush around, get all that done, and then reset up the personal laptop so that I could do this stream tonight. And realized I had not actually set this up. So I was doing that just a few minutes before this when the post went live for everybody. So I appreciate you all being here, especially since that notification did not go out early. But I am going to be trying to do every Monday night at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to take a moment here and go over to the chat, say hello to everybody. We got Sis in the house. Good to see you, Carol. Thank you for being here. My good friend Jay Peregrine, glad to see you. Glad you could make it tonight, man. And Bob, hey, great. I'm glad you could make it. I know you guys are doing your next recording of Collectors of Power podcast. So the fact that you guys are here in the chat, that's outstanding. Thank you very much for being here, Bob. Really appreciate it. So looks like that's it for right now in the chat. But yeah, just wanted to jump on. And first, I want to clarify some things about last week. Title of the show: How to Create a Successful YouTube Channel. And basically, I just came up with that name last week as kind of a joke. Fact that, I'm just starting out, barely doing anything. Last week's video has 61 views, I believe, as of earlier tonight. Considering I only have 31 subscribers, I'd say that's kind of a successful start. I mean, I wish I had the 61 subscribers, but that's great. And Bob's coming in saying taping in 30 minutes. All right, so at least I got you for a half hour. That's fantastic. Again, so glad you could be here tonight. Anybody who's watching, if you have not subscribed to the Collectors Power podcast, I don't know why not yet. These guys are fantastic. Great insights on MOTU. Very generational too. Got all ages in there. Everybody talking about it. It's something we're all passionate about, which, tonight we're going to be talking about working in your passions in the industry. So just to go ahead, absolutely, of course, I'm going to shout you guys out forever. Absolutely love watching your guys' show. Can't wait to see the next episode. You guys are fantastic. Really appreciate you putting out the good content. Really. So yeah, I'd watched a couple videos on how to create a successful YouTube channel, and truth is, I can save you guys about a couple hours because some of those videos are pretty lengthy. Everybody says the same stuff. Be consistent, put out steady content. Probably going to set up like 3 or 4 different channels before you get one successful one, because you got to find your niche. Once you find it, kind of stay in your lane, stick to it, kind of thing. But the truth is, just kind of post the content that you like. That was the main thing that I ended up taking away from that, is that, just really be consistent, post what you like, and have fun doing it. That's what this is all about, having fun. So if you can manage to do those things, you should have a successful YouTube channel, according to about a bunch of guys that were just sitting around recording how they set up successful YouTube channels. So I guess I'm inclined to agree with the experience. So now that I got that out of the way, this week's show, talking about working in your passions, having done the Toy Frenzy show with Skelevator week after week, we've done a lot of incredible interviews on the show. We've had Mark Enright from Motorhead Masks. We've had Blake Wright, toy collector, first published toy magazine in ages. Fantastic. We've had Does Machines 84, awesome customizer of TMNT. Definitely a fine artist, and he shows it in the artwork that he makes with his customs. If you guys haven't watched that video, definitely go back and check it out. There's some amazing work there. And then last week, or just this past Thursday, we had Justin Rosh from Stunt Puppet Pictures, and absolutely incredible. And I've just realized this theme over and over again, that these guys working in the industries that they're working in, it's their passions, what they're doing about it. And I've seen it across several different panels as well. Like when we're just this past week, we had Pulse Con, and they have their different panels talking about the different brands, the different teams coming out. You can tell the passion that some of these guys have, for the products that they're putting out. Other ones, not so much. There's just this lack of passion. And to see which brands are doing really well, it's always the ones where the guys are really passionate about it. It's the passionate ones are what's really driving the industry right now. And you see that across a lot of these different brands. And it's great, because a lot of us, we grew up with these toys. Now we're all adults. We work in different parts of different industries, and seeing how we can end up using the passions for these toys that we had as kids and develop it into careers is pretty remarkable. As Justin was saying just this past week about how, he gets to go and play with toys for hours, weeks at a time, really filming it, posing these different action figures and everything like that. It's like, that's stuff we can all relate to. As kids, we used to do that. We had our little imaginations, and play it out with our toys. And being able to do that for a living is something outstanding. And even with Blake, he says, if there's something that you want in the world and it's not there, make it happen. Do it. Put it out there. So again, just bringing that passion into the world and actually creating something from it. It's really, really amazing to see. So yeah, I mean, that's really kind of like part of the gist of what I want to talk about tonight. I know I am behind the scenes working on a bit of a passion project. Actually, Shea Peregrine's a part of that. We'll have more news on that further down the line we get. But hopefully it'll be something that you all be excited to see, and hopefully something that'll actually be able to really turn into something amazing. It's still ages away, but right now, you see a lot of people working with their different passions. The guys over at Ramen Toys, all the toys they're bringing out. Toy Otter bringing out the long box heroes. Hopefully, yeah, we're gonna make it happen, man. We are definitely gonna make it happen. It's just gonna take some time. There's gonna be a bit of timing involved with it. We're still working on things, so let's not rush it. Let's slowly build it up, and then we'll bring it out when it's ready. But yeah, Toy Otter doing the long box heroes. I think that's great because there's so many different comic book heroes, like indie comics and stuff like that don't have the backing of DC or Marvel. Where their characters deserve toys as well. And not everybody's just Todd McFarlane and can start up their own toy lines. So Toy Otter took it upon himself to really recognize some of these unsung heroes in the toy market, which is incredible. And if you have not checked out Longbox Heroes, he's doing a whole series of like the 4 to 5 inch scale, superpowers-esque articulation. Longbox Heroes looks great. He's got characters like the Rocketeer. He's got Grendel. That was a personal favorite of mine from the 90s. All kinds of different superheroes that never really had their chance on the toy shelf. Toy Biz didn't take a chance with them. Kenner never touched them. So this is a really, really cool series of toys that he's putting out, bringing to life, putting back into the market. There's dozens of Kickstarters too for other toy properties and different things. So like right now, it's really kind of the time for a lot of these indie toy developers to get things out there. Guys over at Phantasm Toys, if you guys enjoy the real Ghostbusters toy line, you can get a whole bunch of kind of exclusive ghost toys. They did the Scolari brothers from Ghostbusters 2. They did the giant cockroach from the first Ghostbusters movie that they mentioned. Those toys are absolutely fantastic. And again, if you have not checked those out, check out Phantasm Toys. They're excellent, absolutely excellent. Drinking out of the Bones coffee, so much more appropriate now than most months, being that we have finally gotten into October. Sometime this month, I'm actually going to be I was thinking about doing like a Halloween episode of sorts. I think a Halloween episode would be really neat to do. Probably talk, make it MOTU related, of course, because that's, my wheelhouse, the MOTU toys. And we got Thanos Copter in the house. Excellent. Man, almost wasn't feeling right without you here, Thanos Copter, so I'm glad you made it. Better late than never, man. So, really glad to have you here, though. I mean, tonight seems to be a much smaller turnout than most. I understand. It's Monday night. I picked a weird time slot. Also didn't have this thing posted nearly in advance to really, really get the, as many viewers as like last week. Last week was definitely hopping. And we got Carol saying neighbor decorated already, so the competition begins. Absolutely. Light her up. Light the neighbor up. Don't back out to that. Not as big of a Halloween fan as we are, Carol. No way. You remember when we were kids and we decorated the yard and then kids from the neighborhood saw all of our decorations? That was terrible. The fun of living in Baltimore, folks. Decorate your outside at your own risk. It may not be there. You got the 12-foot skeleton. Excellent. I love that thing. I think it's outstanding. So I can't wait to see some pictures of it. Definitely post those. So upcoming this week for shows, we've definitely got Toy Frenzy coming up again this Thursday. Supposed to be doing a dual review of the Grizzlor figure. Skelevator sent mine on its way, so it should be here in time for us to do a dual review of it. What a great way to start off the month of October with doing a Grizzlor review. Always been kind of a personal favorite of mine. Reminds me of the Wolfman. Always dug werewolves over vampires. I always thought they were a lot cooler. A lot more limited in their prowess, but that's coming up later this week. We're going to be doing that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Finally getting those figures. And one thing that hasn't happened in a while, actually, this week, it's going to be Skelevator and myself. I know we've done so many guests week after week after week. This week, we're actually returning to the original format of just Skelevator and myself for a week, do this review. That's going to be really cool. If you have not subscribed to Skelevator's channel already, definitely swing over, check him out, give him a subscribe, check out our recent, all of our most recent episodes of Toy Frenzy. Last week's with Justin was absolutely incredible. It was really mind-blowing seeing all that. So can't wait to get him back onto the show again when he has some time, because he's definitely very busy. So what upcoming things would you guys like to see for the month of October? I know I said I'm going to definitely trying to do the like a Halloween style episode. What kind of stuff would you guys like to see? Definitely dive into that. Thanos Copter saw Skelevator's sweet 40th 4-pack score. Absolutely, man. That trade deal he has for the Snake Mountain, incredible. To get such an awesome rare 4-pack. And I got to tell you, after watching his video of it, I'm definitely feeling it a little bit more. And I don't believe it's just FOMO. Like actually seeing the figures and watching his little review of it. And I respect the artwork on the TV. shelf for everything. I think there was a lot of nice artwork that was put in that. It's still really rough in my head, though, to break down and pay $37.50 for each one of those figures. I mean, the truth is, though, if I had the money to spare, I would have thrown it at it already and picked it up as soon as it went live. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. If I had the money to do so, I would have already. It's just tough to, with funds being so restricted right now, to really justify buying 4 of the same character for the line. Absolutely, Thanos Copper. It's nice, just a bit pricey, and I agree. Yeah, 100%. But still, that was an outstanding review he did of it. It was really neat to see all the actual figures in hand. I got to admit, not being a big fan of the New Adventures of He-Man, I really, really appreciate that origin style New Adventures of He-Man, if you know what I mean. Like, it looks good. It really does. And, from what I've seen overall with most of the reviews I've seen of the 4-pack, it's funny. I love the 2000X He-Man, but I've got to say, out of that 4-pack, he really feels like kind of the letdown. I guess part of it might be the least, he's less exclusive, I feel, than the other ones. I mean, I know Filmation He-Man, he's really just the core He-Man of the series with a Filmation head and an adjusted harness so that it's got the scabbard across the back. And that's really cool. But that 2000X, like, if you look at the paint apps on all of the other He-Man heads, they did alter his hair color. They made it a little less of that bright yellow, toned it down into a more muted yellow. But like the other ones, like, all their eyes are painted white with the black pupil. His, it's still just a black pupil on the flesh tone. They did paint up his harness a little bit more, and that's pretty cool. But overall, he seems to be the one that's lacking the most. Now, mind you, his weapons, the detailing in his weapons is a little bit more than everybody else's, because he's got that chrome, the vac metal, chrome weapons that are originally just that regular gray that we're used to seeing. But it looks like there's a little bit more detail in the paint app. I'd have to ask him to look at it again, or maybe I'll go watch a couple more, watch the video over again. But it looks like they included like that vac metal green in there too. That was with his medals. I know they showed it in some of the earlier press shots, but it looks like they did include that in the final figure. So that's a little bit more detail than the rest of the weapons for everybody else, where it's, well, you got the CGI He-Man does have his gold pommel and hilt. So, I mean, that's cool too. I like it when they do the duotone with it. I think that's really unique. So, yeah, guys. Want to talk briefly. I don't want to talk too much about stuff because I know I got Toy Frenzy coming up this week with Skelevator. But, over the weekend we had Pulse Con, and everybody who was checking out what was going on with that, what are some of your thoughts? I know overall for me, I think the biggest disappointment was the selfie series. That going up to 80 from being 60 when it was announced. And overall, what you get, that's kind of a letdown. But I mean, truth is, if you want a personalized action figure, selfie series is kind of the way to go. All right, now it officially feels like an episode of Toy Frenzy because we got Skelevator in the house. Glad to have you here tonight, man. We were just talking about your review of the He-Man 4-pack, 40 years across television. Outstanding video. I was just saying how I want it more. I still just can't justify the price on it, but I definitely wanted a lot more than I initially did. So, yeah, thank you for posting that video. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If eventually that money does become free, if I do get the funds for it, perhaps then I will jump on that bandwagon and actually pick it up. And Thanos Copter here. I'm seriously considering the Jean Grey and Spiral Marvel Legends, even though I don't collect that line. They look great. I gotta agree. The Spiral figure, I think, really does it for me because the engineering that goes behind doing all 6 of those arms and to have them fully articulated, the way they look now, it certainly looks a lot better than how they did it with the 6-armed Spider-Man. That was not as impressive. I kind of wish they had done something a little bit more along the lines of what they did for Spiral. So, really, really like that figure. I think that's great. And yeah, the new Dark Phoenix Jean Grey, she looks great. Kind of makes that Dark Phoenix 2-pack with her and Cyclops just seem a little less valuable now, but still outstanding. I think Marvel Legends actually did a overall really solid job with their presentation this weekend. I got Star Wars really didn't hit the mark for me this time around. I was looking at the different things they had to offer, and I don't know the modal nodes. It's yeah, it seems like they really just got done doing the Black Series 6-inch with that. Now they're doing the 3.75 with them. They announced that coming down. Return of the Jedi pipeline figures. That was a pretty cool announcement, but it's like you really kind of already have most of those. So, there's not a whole lot there that really makes it stand out and be like, oh God, gotta have this one. The Andor figures, those were pretty impressive. Those are pretty cool, but it wasn't. We got Skelevator Wicket the Ewok is pretty cool. That I can agree with. Yes, the new Wicket Black Series figure, all the extra accessories, definitely pretty cool. Overall, I like Return of the Jedi Luke was always like my favorite Luke Skywalker, so I was happy to see him, again. But yeah, he's definitely cool. And if I were to get a Black Series figure, it'd probably be that one because again, I just that was my favorite Luke Skywalker. A lot of people didn't necessarily care for Return of the Jedi, but growing up, that was my favorite. One of my favorite colors in the world is green, so seeing him with the green lightsaber definitely always had me. I loved that lightsaber look. It was all because the blue lightsaber did not show up against the blue sky on Tatooine in the desert. Thanos Copter says, I'm torn between wanting G.I. Joe to do a 3 3/4 scale and glad that they aren't, so I don't spend more money. Yeah, I mean they've got those O-ring 2-packs that are like Pulse. I think my problem is like last couple years they were doing like that vintage series with like the updated sculpts for older styled figures, like they were doing those vintage style, and now they're doing the O-ring series again with those 2-packs, and it's like they're just really, it's almost as bad as Star Wars. Like they're just putting out the same figures again and again and again, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just kind of sick of those. I liked the direction they were going with those vintage ones. I really enjoyed those with the new sculpts, kind of like the same accessories, but upgraded feel to it. I like those. I can't deny that what they're doing with Classified is amazing. I wish I could have started when they first were launching the Classified series. I wish I could have started collecting those back then, because I'd definitely be in all in now on it. So maybe it's a good thing I didn't really. But gosh, Serpentor looks absolutely amazing. The detail on that, outstanding. Just out of this world. Kel says, that's right. There is always Christmas coming up and around the corner. It's very true. Just a couple months away now. And Jay Peregrine agrees. He always liked Return of the Jedi. Good man. Thank you. Appreciate the solidarity there. Jedi was a fun movie. I mean, still I respect and I like Empire Strikes Back a lot more now. But Return of the Jedi was always it when I was a kid. And Thanos Copter agreeing that he looked amazing. Like without, I mean, when they showed him off at San Diego Comic-Con, he looked good. But I don't know, just seeing like the full packaging and everything this time, all the detail on his I want to call it the jet sled, but his his little air ride thing, really cool. Shipwreck, Dreadnought, Serpentor, good stuff. Absolutely. I really, really like what they're doing with those. I gotta say, barbecue felt a little lacking, but that's because they were just it's the same mold. They're just repainting them to look like Sergeant Slaughter's Marauder version, and it's like, did anybody really care that he was in the Marauders? Of all the other Marauders, did we really care that he was? But I get it. They're trying to maximize, that buck. If they can release the figure again, different paint scheme, and people buy it, sure, go for it. I also think CoverGirl, she looked really, really good. I know it's again at San Diego Comic-Con they showed her off, but she didn't have the paint apps. Now with the paint apps, I think she looks great. So it's good to see them continuing on with the females in the line, because I don't think we get enough female action figures. At least not in these lines that are mostly dominated by boys. And I get it. Like, Todd even feels that females don't sell, but I gotta be honest, like some of the female figures were better. There was a lot more to them. Like, I'm still waiting to see more of the Princess Power stuff. And how about Mattel being sneaky? All this stuff with the Pulse Con going on, and then yesterday just dropping, hammer after hammer after hammer. I made a couple of posts, but I was trying to bring up the GameStop website, which, being an ex-employee of GameStop, I do not look at their stuff very often. But finding out that they were posting about upcoming, Masters of the Universe stuff, I had to go check it out. So they've got a placeholder date, and GameStop always does this, so it's nothing new. A lot of people in the business do. It's got a placeholder date for like November 30th of 2023. And that's not a real date. It's a tentative date. It's just they need a placeholder date to put it on. So they're putting it out there because it'll definitely be out by fourth quarter next year. But I think we're going to see most of those because, like, I noticed even the first wave of Rise of the Snake Men, which they had showed off at San Diego Comic-Con, those are supposed to be coming out first quarter next year. They already said that those are going to be out first quarter next year. So, like, them having a tentative date for November 30th, that's why I was like, okay, that's just a placeholder date. And I didn't post any pictures of that, just because we have seen those in package. They showed them off at San Diego Comic-Con already in package, which means those guys are kind of ready to ship right after the beginning of the year. But they did show off all the new in-package shots of doing Thanos Copters. Got it right here. The Batlin, absolutely. Sorceress Evelyn. That figure looks incredible. I can't wait to get it. That's a must-have. I don't really care for a lot of the revelations. I'm definitely all about the new Attorney. I've said it time and time again. But that Evelyn looks just amazing. So I'm definitely all about picking that one up. I think it's incredible. I'm glad they got to doing a figure of her real quick. Carol, I know you were looking at the Princess of Power Masterverse stuff with the She-Ra. There's the Hordak Catra. I just posted about on my IG. There's a Frosta as well that's coming out. They've shown her in box now. She looks outstanding. Just incredible. And then we have, of course, with that, they've also showed off new Eternia Manny faces. I loved seeing all 6 of the different faces that he's going to have for swappability. And I also enjoyed seeing how not only can he carry the case of extra faces, but it straps to his back too. That was something I don't remember seeing before. Maybe they did. Maybe I missed it when they were given the panel. But actually seeing him have that case strapped to his back, what an awesome way to carry around the different faces. I think it's great. Skelevator's in agreement about Evelyn and Manny faces. You actually put that one in the chat before I clicked the Evelyn there, so I got both. But yeah, Manny faces is looking intense. absolutely love the sculpt. Um, really excited to get him. And again, let's not forget that new Eternia Stratos. I mean, there's not a whole lot that looks different about him from what you would expect, really, from like any Masterverse, even if it was the regular figure. But what I like about it is they show he's got the jetpack, he's got the circlet of feathers that's more accurate to the comic book, as opposed to just the jetpack with the arm wings. He's still no real. He's just really still got most of his flying things. I like the fact that they gave him the little oxygen mask. I think that's awesome. Uh, just some really cool stuff to add in and really make that version of Stratos something special, something significant. And we got Dylan in the house. Hey, bro, what's going on, buddy? I'm glad you could make it out. Thank you for jumping into the chat tonight. Really appreciate that. Always love it when people jump in and say, hey. So glad you could make it, man. Hope everything's going okay. Hope you're enjoying your time tonight. I know it's a little cold and rainy out. Seems like, had Hurricane Ian hit down the southern border, and my heart goes out to everybody down there. I know buddy John that was in the chat last week. He was down there boarding up doing prep work last week. I messaged him after it hit. He said they survived. They had lost some power, and he was about to lose the fridge. He said most of his bottles of water that he froze and kept inside there were thawing out. So heart goes out to everybody that's, dealing with a hard time down in Florida and everything. I hope they get you guys back on track soon, get everything, your power restored, and you guys can get into recovery. It's always rough when you got family and friends in one of those areas when things go south like that. So just hoping the best for everybody down there. But so seeing these upcoming, new Masterverse lines on Sunday, and then the Origins getting a good look at that snake armor Skeletor. Wow. That guy looks awesome. And I like the fact that they're doing it on the 2000X style head sculpt, like the snake armor's going over that 2000X head sculpt of Skeletor versus the regular classic or, regular Skeletor head sculpt. I think that's great. So as soon as I saw some pictures go live of it, I was able to snag a bunch. Unfortunately, I couldn't really get all of them because it wasn't really loading on GameStop. For some reason, the page would not load with, I was trying to load up Roboto and get pictures of that and other ones, but unfortunately, it just wasn't trying to load. So plenty of people have posted it on IG, so you can definitely go check those out and get a better look at some of those. I know I definitely got a good pick of at least the Sorceress Evelyn. That's going to be great. And now I'm excited to hear about when we can expect the God Evelyn figure, because that also looked incredible and we haven't seen it yet. I was kind of hoping maybe since they were throwing all those out there, we would have seen some stuff about the new CGI. Like, I want to know when we can get my hands on some Merman and on some Mossman. I think that would be cool. And Carol says she looked while she was at the Walmart, but the toy section is like a tornado went through it. Yeah, it is. And it's funny, too, because you'll go down other aisles and they won't look like they've been touched. But the moment you hit the Hasbro Mattel action figure aisle, like, it's definitely like something else hit those sections every time. Chris and I, this weekend, we didn't go out and do any of our toy hunting like we normally do. For those of you who don't know, Chris, one of my best friends, we go out and we do all of our toy hunting together. I often call him Ziggy, as that is his nickname. We're both named Chris. I've gone by Oz. He's always gone by Ziggy. So we went out this weekend to hang out with our buddy Scott, who lives pretty far away. I haven't seen him in about a year. We did manage to sneak into a Walmart at one point and check out to see what they had, changed up a little bit. Like always, saw nothing new. Same old Wave 7 out there. Jitsu, Buzz Off, Sorceress, and mini comic Stratos. There was nothing new there. They actually didn't even have as much new with Masterverse. Now, I did manage to see CGI Manny faces and CGI Ram Mam. Haven't seen those in a minute, so might swing back through to try and pick that up when we can. But coming up this weekend, I know we're going to be stopping back to Random Treasures. I talked about them earlier 2 weeks ago. We'd stopped in and I picked up a couple of figures from there while we were in. And we're going to be revisiting them this upcoming weekend because I'm going to be recording an interview with the owner. We're going to be taking a tour of the store and checking out and seeing what they got. They have huge selections of a lot of really good vintage stuff. They got a lot of good newer stuff as well. So you guys will see more of that after this Sunday because, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to record an interview with them, sit down and talk with them a bit and do that tour. So that's going to be some really good upcoming content. And Skelevator, you weren't here, so I don't know if you caught it. Already plugged our show for the Grizzlors. As of yet, I have not received it, but as soon as that comes in, I'm going to let you know because I'm really looking forward to doing that dual review with both of us cracking into Grizzlor and getting them open. I can't wait. Thank you again for grabbing me one of those because otherwise I think I would have missed out on this Mattel Creations. It'd be the first one I've missed since Sunman. So, ended up getting the rest of them. I got the mini comic Triclops and Wondar and Koldar. So, would have felt a bit off not having this guy up on the shelf with all of his Mattel Creations buddies, but thank you for pulling through for me. I really appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, like I said, it's just a brief episode. I've had a long day today. Like I said, just getting back to work. Nice, you bet. Absolutely. And excited. It's going to be cool. And I don't know how many other channels out there are doing dual reviews when they get stuff. Both of us teaming up, reviewing one character, talking about what we like, having it in hand together. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be great. And as I mentioned earlier when I was talking about it, what a great way to kick off, going into October here, the month of Halloween with Grizzlor, who, again, like I said, he reminds me of the Wolfman. The whole horde kind of reminds me of those Universal monsters. I think maybe that should be a Halloween episode. Either you and I cover, or maybe I'll just cover it on my own, whichever. I know we've got other guests and stuff coming up, so we'll figure out along the schedule where we can go over that. But the horde always definitely seemed like it was a mixed match of the Hollywood Universal monsters of characters, and I think that would be really fun to dive into for a Halloween type episode. So yeah, we'll definitely have to get that upcoming. Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's going to be a fun one to do. But yeah, guys, I think it might be time to about wrap this up. Not quite an hour's episode here, but like I said, I had a long day today. Started that new job, got home, had to set up my computer and everything like that for work, all before I could do this. And it's been a very long, stressful day. So I think I might just call it a night here and wrap things. But I appreciate everybody making it out tonight. Always a good time to see everybody here. Again, Thanos Copter, thank you for coming. Jay Peregrine, Carol, I really appreciate you guys being here. Skelevator, it's always good to see you, partner. And Dylan, first time coming to the show, coming in the chat. I'm going to throw you up here again. Hey, bro. Thank you so much for making it, Dylan. It is great to see you here, brother. I really appreciate having you. Glad to give you a shout out. Also, earlier, I know he had to leave because they were taping in about an hour. We had Bob from the Collectors of Power. They're doing a taping right now, getting ready for the next episode. Please jump out and check them. And again, if you guys aren't already, go ahead and subscribe to Skelevator so you can catch us on our next episode of Toy Frenzy. That'll be coming up. We did decide that's this Thursday. Is that correct, Skelevator? He'd say congrats on the new job. And we have Thanos Copter. All right, man. Get some rest. Good to see you again tonight. Absolutely, Thanos Copter. I talk to you almost every night going across these chats for all of our different toy streams, man. It's great to see you. And Jay Peregrine making sure to get some rest. Absolutely. All right, guys. So, yeah, this upcoming Thursday, we're going to have the episode for Skelevator and I to do Grizzlore. That's going to be a lot of fun. You'll catch us there. And that's going to be 6:30 Pacific time, which is 9:30 for those of us here on the East Coast. So definitely come join us as we review Grizzlore. And it's going to be awesome. And again, if you have not yet, check out Skelevator's video from this past week where he went ahead and he had reviewed the He-Man 4-pack 40 years on television. It's a really, really great review of the figures. And like I said, it left me actually really wanting this where I had already made up my mind that I did not want it. So anything that'll get me to actually alter my mind about something like that definitely says something about it. Unfortunately, the funds just still aren't there. So, all right, guys, that really is going to wrap it up for the night. But thank you all for being here. I hope to see you all on Thursday night, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern time. Everybody have a great Monday. Thank you for coming out and joining me tonight. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys Thursday. And then I will be back up next Monday with another episode of Ostradamus Toys Live. Take care, everybody.